التواصل الإقليمي. بتمتد بصمة آي راديو إلى ولاية غرب وشمال بحر الغزال، غرب والاستوائية الوسطى.
Sounds of the week on I Radio.
I personally went where I opened my bank account. I did not receive any single coin up to date. There is no money. When you go there, they refuse. They are not giving us money because the central bank is not giving them cash. You just go and receive the cash that is being deposited by the other customers of the bank, and then the central bank just send cashless. So for them, they are saying we need a lot of money from the government, and the government is now making us bankrupt. We are not even getting anything from the government. They have just brought my names. They instruct you to open the bank account, but they are not giving us our money. So this is a very big issue. Why are they sending people to go and take another people's money and they don't pay them? And now they are just releasing checks without cash every month. This is a fraud in law. It is a crime itself. It should not be done like that. If they fail completely, not to pay people, let them just stay without sending people to a place where you look like a stranger, others see you like a beggar. I don't understand. What is that?
Sounds of the week on I Radio. Your eye on South Sudan. Live from Juba, on air and online.
This is iRadio News.
Hello, this is iRadio News. First, here are the headlines. Vice President Josephine Laguyanga has told the United Nations General Assembly in New York that the unity government is considering resuming the Tumaini Peace Initiative. The trial of several young men accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Gumbo, Shirekar in June is set to begin next Wednesday at a mobile court inside Juba Central Prison. An advocate involved in the case has told iRadio. And human rights campaign group Justice and Human Rights Observatory has filed a police case in Imul against 5 members of military intelligence accused of kidnapping its staff in the town on Thursday. This is stories and more coming to in this news bulletin with me, Lasuba Memo, and now the news in detail. Vice President Josephine Laguyanga has told the United Nations General Assembly in New York that the unity government is considering resuming the Tumaini Peace Initiative. Yanga, who is also the chair of the economic cluster, said this is part of the government's effort for lasting peace in the country. She said the government also welcomes facilitation for both regional and other partners. Emmanuel Joseph Akile reports.
According to Yanga, consolidating peace in South Sudan is not only crucial for its people, but also essential for stability across the Horn of Africa, the Great Lakes region, and beyond. She made the remarks during her address to the United Nations General Assembly yesterday.
South Sudan remains open to meaningful dialogue with other holdout groups. In this regard, the government is considering resumption of the Tumaini Peace Initiative and welcomes facilitation from regional and other partners. We urge regional and international communities to urge the holdout groups to renounce armed violence and engage in political dialogue. Furthermore, we appeal to the international community to continue supporting South Sudan's efforts and democratic process through provision of technical assistance, capacity building, and development support.
In July 2025, the head of the government delegation declared the Tumaini initiative dead, arguing that the opposition involved in the talks has no case. Senior Presidential Advisor Kwalma Young-Juk, also leading the government delegation, accused the United People's Alliance of attempting to discard the 2018 revitalized peace agreement. He described the Tumaini proposal, particularly the idea of a leadership council as the highest organ of government, as a coup. Kwol also said that Juba had questioned Nairobi for allegedly allowing the United People's Alliance to form a military wing within Kenya, an issue he cited as contrary to East African Community principles. But last month, the deputy chief mediator of the Kenya-led South Sudan peace process said the Tumaini initiative is still alive, contrary to earlier claims by the head of the government delegation. Dr. Muhammad Ali Guyo affirmed the ongoing life of the Tumaini initiative. Dr. Guyo emphasized the initiative's wide backing. Tumaini initiative is also based on a high-level blessing, guidance and leadership in South Sudan, Kenya and the region and beyond. He expressed surprise at Kwol's public declaration, saying the assertion by the leader of the government delegation was not communicated formally, nor was it officially communicated via a formal channel. Dr. Guyo also called on all parties to return to the negotiation table. It's something that the people of South Sudan should take note, that it's important to engage with the new protocols, new understanding, and also to focus on the work ahead. The Nairobi-led peace talks meant to involve opposition factions excluded from the 2018 peace deal have been on hold since February. The government delegation requested the delay to finalize two extended roadmaps, as stated by Dr. Martin Ilielomoro, rapporteur for the team. However, no return date was communicated. The peace process suffered a major blow when former Petroleum Minister Port Kang, deputy head of the opposition delegation, and other SPLM-IO leaders were arrested following the Nasser incident. This development has halted the implementation of the 2018 peace accord, further straining the already fragile negotiations. Originally designed to unify fragmented political and military actors, the Tumaini initiative aimed to resolve South Sudan's protracted instability and guide the country toward democracy and lasting peace. Despite setbacks and political disagreements, its mediators insist that the vision and hope it represents is still alive. Reporting for iRadio News, Emmanuel Joseph Akile.
Thanks indeed, Emmanuel Joseph Akile. The trial of several young men accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Gumbo, Shirikad in June is set to begin next week at a mobile court inside Juba Central Prison. An advocate involved in the case has told iRadio. Advocate Godfrey Victor Bullen, who represents the survivors, said he received official communication from the court scheduling the first hearing for October 1st, 2025 at the High Court sitting in the prison. In June, police arrested several suspects over the alleged gang rape of a 16-year-old girl. The incident was filmed and circulated on social media, sparking outrage from the public, civil society, and women's and human rights organizations. According to a referral letter from the public prosecution to the court, 13 suspects have been listed to stand trial. The letter outlines 4 charges, including acts committed by several persons in furtherance of a common intention, criminal intimidation by anonymous communication, detaining a person for unlawful sexual conduct, and robbery. Bullen criticized the delay in assigning a judge, saying it denied the survivor a fair and timely trial despite police having completed their investigation long ago.
Today we are able to learn a communication from the court that fixed the session to be on the 1st of next month, which is next week, 1st of October 2025. The first session will commence in the prison, the High Court in the prison. Yeah, what we know, some of the suspects were arrested. There are suspects arrested in under custody, and the police had finished their investigation a long time ago, and the file was transferred to court, but a judge was not assigned to carry out this court process. Due to some reasons that can be explained better by the judiciary. For such a delay that offends the right of fair trial and delay of justice and prolong the delay of justice.
Advocate Bullen said Judge Lawrence Gaga has now been assigned to preside over the case at the mobile court in the prison. He added that some suspects who had been released were later rearrested after the public prosecution overturned its earlier decision.
The judge is in prison. From the communication we found, it will be before Lawrence Jaja, mobile court. Well, of now, because at first there were two suspects at large, and then there were some suspects that were released, and then the public prosecution had to cancel also the decision of the public prosecution who released some of the suspects in order for some of these suspects to be rearrested and brought into book. They are in detention in Juba Central Prison.
A human rights campaign group, Justice and Human Rights Observatory, has filed a police case in Nimule against 5 members of military intelligence accused of kidnapping its staff in the town on Thursday. According to Advocate Godfrey Victor Bullen, the group's executive director, the victim advocate both Philip was abducted at around 1 p.m. near the court premises in Nimule shortly after leaving a court session. Philip was driving with some of his clients when men identified as military intelligence officers intercepted him near Green Valley. He was reportedly taken towards Moli, where his captors allegedly attempted to execute him. One of his clients, who had been ordered to run away, escaped and alerted the mayor of Nimule. Bullen said the mayor immediately raised the matter with government officials, leading to Philip's release this morning.
Advocate both Philip, who is actually a focal person for Justice and Human Rights Observatory in Numule within Eastern Equatorial State. Poch was yesterday at 1 p.m. Kidnapped around the court in Numule after he left the court, driving in his vehicle with some of the clients he was representing in court near to the Green Valley in Numule. He was kidnapped by some individual members of the military intelligence. He was kidnapped and driven straight up to Moli, and in the process they wanted to execute him. By thank God, the clients who were with him, who were ordered by these kidnappers to run away, they decided to run to the office of town mayor of Numule, and the town mayor of Numule immediately picked up a communication, called the government officials.
Bullen further explained that a car accident occurred during the incident, injuring one of the alleged military intelligence officers. Although Advocate Philip has since declined to pursue the case, Justice and Human Rights Observatory insists the suspects must face justice. The organization has formally asked the police in Nimule to arrest the 5 suspects from the military intelligence unit in Loa and ensure they face legal process.
Some extent, fortunately, was released this morning. There was an accident, car accident, that knocked one of the members of the military intelligence was knocked down. And then the later on said Poch should decline from pursuing the case. So Poch declined from pursuing the case, and they were asking Bob Philip to present, to avail, or we are calling on the institution respectively to apprehend these people, as we have already launched a case in Numule to arrest these suspects and surrender them to police so that they undergo the process of the law. The suspects are 5 suspects from the unit of military intelligence in Loa.
This is iRadio News. A joint initiative by AMREF and UNFPA has successfully treated 33 women suffering from fistula after 2 weeks of repair surgeries at Juba Teaching Hospital. The 2-week campaign admitted 50 fistula patients for free treatment, leading to the successful restoration of 33 women. Speaking on Thursday after the launch of the 3rd campaign at Juba Teaching Hospital, Anna Modo, AMREF representative, said 33 out of 50 fistula patients admitted this month have been successfully repaired. Modo added that the remaining 3 patients will first undergo medical procedures for other health complications before receiving fistula treatment. She says some patients have already been discharged while others continue to receive care and will be discharged once fully recovered.
Today we are having a closing ceremony for fistula repair camp that has been happening in Juba Teaching Hospital for the past 2 weeks. We were able to repair mothers who have been suffering from fistula. We were able to repair a number of murders that was at the ceremony time. It was declared 33 of them were able to be repaired. Some of them are already discharged and others are still in the hospital, are going under monitoring. Once they are healed completely, then they are discharged.
At the same event, Deng Mayen, country fistula coordinator for AMREF, praised UNFPA and partners for their support in combating fistula in South Sudan. He said AMREF will continue supporting the government in addressing fistula-related cases across the country.
In this remark, the Ministry of Health and the partners, they are working hard to make sure that the fistula will, by the end of 2030, we are going to reduce. And also we know very well fistula is one of the contribution of maternal mortality rate. As we know very well, the maternal mortality rate is about 1,423 at 1,000 live births. And when we see the statistic, the research done, the South Sudan have 60,000 women have a fistula. Within 60,000, only 1,000 are treated. So we have left with 59 patients not even treated. So in this remark, we are so privileged that the Minister of Health has worked hard to make sure that the routine surgery as supposed to be done. We have been starting surgery since January. Up to now, the surgery is ongoing on. As I speak with you, the surgery that ending in Djibouti Hospital, we are going to have surgery on the 2nd of October in the Torre. And also we have a surgery on the 18th in our friend who is in Djibouti here. And also there is the ongoing now surgery in the world. So on this remark, we are so happy with the privilege with the partners of UNFPA and also AMRA for this initiative, and make sure that our client will go back and will safely, and we shall also follow up, and we see that fistula is treatable.
This is the third time AMREF has conducted fistula operations. According to the National Ministry of Health, about 60,000 women across South Sudan live with a fistula. Before we move to the international scene, the South Sudan National Olympic Committee officially held its swearing in and inauguration ceremony for the newly elected leadership at the Radisson Hotel in Juba. The event was graced by Vice President Rebecca Nyandeng Dimabior, the Governor of Central Equatorial State, the Minister of Youth and Sports in South Sudan Basketball Federation, President Lual Deng. In her remarks, Vice President Nyandeng congratulated the new leadership headed by President Chol Lam and encouraged them to continue elevating South Sudan on the global Olympic stage. The South Sudan Basketball Federation President Lual Deng also praised President Lam, expressing confidence that the South Sudan National Olympic Committee is in capable hands and highlighting the committee's potential to expand South Sudan's participation in international sporting events. In his maiden address, President Chol Lam expressed gratitude to the nation and the sporting community for their trust, pledging his full commitment to serve. He said, and I quote, "I was not forced to be here. I choose to be here for my country and for the athletes of South Sudan. Together we will raise our flag at the Olympics and beyond." This is iRadio News, and now to the international scene with James Atem.
Thank you, and now let's begin in Africa. Some 260 suspected cyber scammers have been arrested in a sting operation carried out across 14 African countries, the BBC has reported. The operation, coordinated by Interpol and funded by the UK, targeted criminal networks using social media and digital platforms to extract money from victims in romance scams and in so-called sextortion, in which victims are blackmailed using explicit imagery. More than 14,000 victims across Ghana, Kenya, Angola and elsewhere were identified. Elsewhere, a federal grand jury in the U.S. state of Virginia has formally charged former FBI Director James Comey with 2 offenses related to testimony. Mr. Comey, who has long drawn U.S. President Donald Trump's criticism, is accused of lying to a Senate committee in 2020 about whether he authorized a leak of classified information to the media. Responding to the indictment, Mr. Comey declared himself innocent and said he had a great confidence in the federal judicial system. The indictment comes days after Trump called on the country's top law enforcement official to more aggressively investigate his political adversaries, including Mr. Comey. And finally, former UK Prime Minister Sir Tony Blair has been involved in discussions about leading a post-war transitional authority in Gaza, the BBC understands. The proposal, which is said to have the backing from the White House, would see Blair lead a governing authority supported by the UN and the Gulf nations before handing control back to the Palestinians. His office said he would not support any proposal that displaced the people of Gaza. And that's the end of the regional and international news with me, James Satem. Now back to you in the studio.
Thanks indeed, James Atem. And now to the world of sports. Here is Darlington Moses. Good afternoon, Darlington.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lasuba Memo, and welcome back. Barcelona came from behind to avoid a shock defeat by strugglers Real Oviedo as Santi Cazorla made his first La Liga start for the Asturian club at the age of 40. Alberto Reina pounced on a mistake from Barcelona goalkeeper Joan Garcia to give Oviedo a surprise first-half lead, but second-half goals from Eric Garcia, Robert Lewandowski and Ronald Araujo secured a 3-1 win that preserved the Blaugranas' unbeaten start to the season. Former Arsenal and Spain midfielder Cazorla was forced to leave boyhood club Real Oviedo in 2003 without making a senior appearance because of financial difficulties. He returned to the club in 2023 and last season helped them win the La Liga 2 promotions playoffs to return to the top flight for the first time since 2001. Ethiopian runner Sewaji Alin has died aged 30, the organizer of the Stockholm Marathon has confirmed. Alin won the race, her most recent competitions in the Swedish capital in May. She competed in 27 marathons as a professional between 2011 and 2025, recording 12 victories. It is with deep sorrow that we have received the news of the passing of Sewaji Alin, winner of Adidas Stockholm Marathon 2025, the Stockholm Marathon posted on Instagram external. Sewaji Alin became unwell during a training session and was taken to the hospital where suddenly her life could not be saved. The Australian League has defended its decision to choose American rapper Snoop Dogg as its headline musical act for Saturday's grand final. Snoop Dogg will appear at the match between Geelong and Brisbane at the Melbourne Cricket Ground, which can hold up to 100,000 fans. The 53-year-old's involvement has been criticized by some of the Australians because of the rapper's past use of misogynistic and offensive lyrics in some of his songs. It follows Adelaide player Isaac Rankin becoming the 6th AFL-listed player to be suspended for using a homophobic slur in the past 2 seasons. AFL Chief Executive Officer Andrew Dillon said he was really confident with Snoop Dogg's inclusion. This is all in the world of sport, and back to you, Lasuba Memo.
Thanks, Darlington Moses. This is iRadio News, and to end this bulletin, here is a recap of the headlines. Vice President Josephine Laguyanga has told the United Nations General Assembly in New York that the unity government is considering resuming the Tumaini Peace Initiative. The trial of several young men accused of sexually assaulting a minor in Gumbo, Shirikad in June is set to begin next Wednesday at a mobile court inside Juba Central Prison. An advocate involved in the case has told iRadio. And human rights campaign group Justice and Human Rights Observatory has filed a police case in Nimule against 5 members of military intelligence accused of kidnapping its staff in the town on Thursday. That's the end of iRadio News. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message at +211 925 287 It's also our WhatsApp number. Follow us on X at iRadio Juba, like our Facebook page iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 12:30. I'm Lasuba Memo. Thank you for listening.